yes, people, you're locked into the Big Bad Station, araratradio.com. And you know what? I'm with a legend, the one and only Dean Fraser. So, of course, tell the listeners who you are, a little bit about yourself.
Well, people, I'm just a plain humble musician, playing a little saxophone every now and then, and making good reggae music, you understand me? And still hoping that the whole world will enjoy.
Definitely. I like that, for real. And you know what? I want to know, how did you start playing this beautiful instrument? How did it all begin? How did it all happen?
It began some years, around 12 or 13 years of age.
Wow.
And I was recommended by my aunt
Okay.
to do some kind of activity after school. So she recommended me to Alfred B. O'Brien, who taught me to play clarinet,
Yeah.
and then later on move on over to saxophones.
Wow. You know what? You must have a good set of lungs for that.
Well, I guess so.
So, you know, tell us, how did you learn that? Was you taught it, or did you just pick it up as you went along?
No, man, Babe O'Brien, I had a teacher.
Okay, wow, for real.
I had a teacher, yeah.
Do you remember your first song you learned, or you don't remember that?
What we did was we played from a book called A Tune a Day.
Okay.
Yeah, and that had a lot of little songs. Da 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 da, some little songs like that.
Yeah.
And so you learn to play little simple melodies and learn to read at the same time.
Wow. Who would have thought, eh? From those little melodies, you're playing some big tunes.
Yeah.
So, you know, you even won the Musgrave Medal, which is prestigious in Jamaica. How did that feel? How does that even come about?
I really don't know. I was just somewhere in the world and was called and told that I was awarded the Musgrave Medal by the government of Jamaica. Bronze Musgrave medals for my contribution to the Jamaican music.
Wow. So, you know,
yeah.
You know what, Dean Fraser, every time we hear people talk about musicians, your name always comes up. You're always talked about in a very positive way. Why do you think people have really kind of took to how you play and you as a person?
Well, I am not here to, dictate to people or anything. I'm here to help, really, and I do my best to play on a certain level most of the times.
Yeah.
And I try to help people to, sometimes I go into the studio and even though I was just hired to play the song, if the song doesn't sound right, sometimes I would just apply myself, and try to make it have some kind of listening ear, try to fix the song so people can listen to it. So, I do a lot of that and people do appreciate it,
For real, like a mentor. I like that.
Yes.
Definitely. And so, I understand as well that you did backing for Dennis Brown. How did that happen?
Well, as a youngster, Dennis Brown was our idol in reggae music. I mean, Bob Marley was there, but for youngsters like myself, Dennis Brown was my age and everything. So, at 13-year-old, when I was trying to learn, when I was learning to play, Dennis Brown was already recording, and little boys like me looked up to him as, the new king, the new upcoming artist. So I then joined We the People, and when I joined We the People, I ended up being the saxophonist for Dennis Brown.
Wow.
along with Nambo Robinson and Chico Chin and Lloyd Carr. We had the brass section,
Wow. And, for a lot of listeners, for a lot of people locking in, what can you say about Dennis Brown and the band and so on? What can you say about them?
It was amazing, you know. You had to play and play well to back Dennis Brown because his vocals were so powerful.
Yeah.
You know, he had one of the, if not the best vocals in reggae music, and he was, you know, he was like the boss, you know. So it was very entertaining, and we had to really, you know, do something, you know, to be a part of Dennis Brown's band, or else he would just overpower the music, you know.
Wow.
So he was a fantastic person and a fantastic singer, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And is there not necessarily Dennis Brown, but is there a song that you particularly enjoy playing out of all the tunes that there is?
Not necessarily. That's a hard question.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of songs that I love, you know, and well, for me, I go by LPs. I go by albums, really.
Yeah.
And I have a set of albums that I never remove from my playlist scene. So, for instance, Peter Tosh,
yeah,
Mama Africa, Bob Marley, Natty Dread,
yeah,
Bunny Wailer, Blackheart Man, Abyssinians, you understand me?
Yeah.
D Brown, you understand me? D Brown, Inseparable, you know. So these sets of albums are always on rotation in my playlist because you know, Jaman Levi, you know, Pablo Moses. These are people that, these are the songs that I really, you know, just listen to whenever I want to listen to some good reggae music.
Definitely. And as you can see, I'm smiling away because you're saying some big tunes, like big albums. I'm loving that for real. So I want to know, how did you meet Joe Gibbs? How did that come about?
That Joe Gibbs wasn't really the person to meet, you know. The person to meet was Errol Thompson, the engineer.
Yeah.
And as a young boy, I played at nights in a club called the Sheraton Junkanoo Lounge.
Okay.
And Errol used to come there at nights to, you know, hang out and you know, and Errol would come to me and ask me to come to the studios.
Wow.
And likewise, Jojo, you know, who came, the same thing. They both used to come there and they would come and invite me to come to the studio and play. Mm-hmm. So after I took up the offer and I started to go to the studio and, you know, started to play on the tracks with Errol, then I met Joe Gibbs now, who is the boss.
Okay.
You understand me?
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, for real. And so, tell us about your album, Black Horn Man. How did that come about?
All of that was experimental, really. It you know, it was something very experimental. A new kid on the block, and I could play melodies, and you know, I had my own sound by now and everything. So, you know, we started to experiment, and we did a little album. So we came up with Black Horn Man. You understand me? And you know, with that, you know, things really started to, you know, look up for me personally, you know.
Definitely.
So that's where,
But you know, for an experiment, it's still a great project.
It usually all projects are experiments, you know, and for me personally, and then afterwards, you know, the experiment will come out. You know, that's just like scientists. They experiment until they get there. So that's what we do.
Yeah, for real. I like that. And then, you know, lots of people always ask me to ask certain musicians how they kind of meet Sly and Robbie. And I wanted to ask you that. How did you meet them?
I met Sly Sly was also one of the drummers at Joe Gibbs studio.
Okay.
So those, a lot of those Dennis Brown songs and, you know, all those songs that Joe Gibbs recorded were done with Sly Dunbar and Lloyd Parks.
Okay.
Right? And then now, Sly invited me to Channel 1.
Wow.
To play for him. And that's where I met Robbie now. Right?
Yeah.
That's where I met Robbie. And then now, they also formed a group called the Taxi Gang, and I was a part of the Taxi Gang. So, you know, that's where all that link up went on, and we went on tour. King Yellowman, Half Pint, Inika Moose, Maxi Priest, Freddie McGregor.
Yeah.
You know, we did all these tours, and, you know, they were super tours, you know, so.
Definitely.
You know, all of these tours were well received, and, you know.
Yeah. So, you know, when you go on tour, what is it that you kind of take from the tour, and also what do you give in the tour as well? Because I know it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the moment you step on a plane,
yeah,
and it lifts off, it's a totally different frame of mind. It's no work.
Okay.
Right, and you have to think work on another level. And how the tour started, that's not how the tour usually ends. You know?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because when you start, you rehearse and you start to play the tour. But as you go along, the music becomes nicer. People keep adding things. You add little experiments here, little experiments there, until the music just become big and broad and lovely.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's a frame of mind you start to do this work with. You have to open your head, and you have to think.
Yeah.
And add things and subtract things, so that, you know, the music becomes accessible and more inviting, you know, so that the people listen, and they do listen, and, you know, so that's how you really approach it. That's the kind of approach that you want to take with you on tour. You understand me?
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, where does this love, because I know it's a love for music, where does this love of music come from for you?
When you grow up in a community that has or had so much artists, it would have been very difficult for you not to want to love the music, you know? And in my community, I could just look to my left and I see Delroy Wilson.
Wow.
I look to my right and I see Alton Ellis. I look behind me and I see Ken Booth. Then I look down the road and coming up the road is Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
I look across the road, and that's Joe Higgs coming across the road. And it was hard for me not to see all these great people and want to be like them. You understand what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So you find that you wanted to just be among these people, and they were saying music, and you started to love it, and you start to appreciate it, and you start to say, well, wow, you know?
Yeah.
And these superstars, and because these were not normal stars, you understand what I say?
Definitely.
And so you just love what they were doing, and you just wanted to be like that.
Yeah. Wow. what a beautiful community. That's all I can say. You've got so much around you.
Well, the community of Trenchtown really was just blessed with all of this. You understand me?
Definitely.
It has always been blessed that way. Yep.
Yeah, wow. And so, you know, what kind of, if they did they give you any advice? And what would you give for up-and-coming artists as advice?
Well, up-and-coming artists have to realize one thing.
Yeah.
This music didn't get here falling from the sky. You know?
Yeah.
and people like the Whalers and the Katalyst and all these great musicians and singers paid the price. You understand me? A lot of them paid the price. A lot of them never made any money from this business. A lot of them just came through this business, built this genre out of nothing, and the world love it, and them gone, and people don't even remember them. You understand me?
For real.
And we want to tell these youngsters to always try to hold on to a piece of this music, because some of them tend not to understand, and we want them to understand that this is our music. This Jamaica is not even a dot on the map.
Yeah.
If you put up a map on your laptop or your tablet, Jamaica will not appear until you start to broaden the thing and expand it and bring it nearer.
Yeah.
And we are so tiny, it's unbelievable. Yet we have ska, we have rocksteady, we have reggae, we have mento, and now we have dancehall.
Yeah.
And so we are responsible for like 4 pop music in the world.
Wow.
Come straight out of Jamaica. This is unbelievable.
Definitely.
You understand what I say?
Yeah.
So we want them understand them thing, yeah, and try to keep that going, you know. Them have to remember and keep that going, because it's not something that came overnight.
Yeah.
And we should preserve it.
Definitely. And you know, it's amazing that you say that, because like I remember listening to my granddad from Jamaica, listening to lots of different reggae tunes, and it's something that brought me closer to Jamaica. You know, obviously born in the UK, but it brought me closer to Jamaica. And I wanted to know, what would you say to people that are saying, you know, well, we don't make any money off of roots music and things like that? What would you say?
I would say to them, if we make good roots music, we will make money.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I can tell you, good roots rock reggae music never die. And it's a long lasting music. You know, it's as far different from this disposable thing that's happening right now.
Yeah.
You know, so we need to believe in it and believe in our music.
Well,
you know, so when we start to believe, you know, we will get there. Trust me on that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, as you know already, the roots and the conscious music is still played now in the dances and so on. So
it must be played because it can never die. It's something that we have to hold on to. This is something. I mean, a lot of what our music is saying. Our music is not that something to dance to. Our music taught the world.
Yeah.
We taught the world a lot of things through our music. You understand me?
Definitely.
I, as a little boy, I didn't learn about apartheid and these things in any books or on TV or on CNN. They would not give you the full background of these things. I learned all this from music.
Yeah.
From Rastaman, who I read and I comfort now and I say, this is this and this is that, and part it so that, you know, other people can know it. And it was done through our reggae music. You understand me?
Yeah.
This music is like a magnet.
Yeah.
And it's not only music that for you to dance. It's music. It's teaching music.
Yeah.
It's healing music. It's music that people have to, you know, hold on to.
Yeah.
You understand me? And anyone who falls in love with reggae music falls in love with roots music. You understand me? So
definitely.
You know, and it's something to grow with and to take you through life.
Definitely. And you know, one thing I wanted to ask you is the digital age that we're kind of going through and have been going through now. Has it affected you as a person who plays an instrument?
The digital age affects everyone, you know.
Yeah.
But the thing about the digital age is age is bad, and it's very good also.
Okay.
You understand me? So I would not lament on that as any downfall or anything.
Yeah.
The digital age is something that you have to use to your ability and your liking.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that, how you said that, for real. So, you know, when it comes to memorable moments, and I'm sure you've got so many in your catalogue, is there a particular or one or two moments that you could share with the listeners that you've really took to?
Well, I've always said this. I guess people might be bored to hear it now, but I remember doing the first Montreux Jazz Festival in Switzerland.
Yeah.
And on that concert was Dennis Brown, Steel Pulse, and Peter Tosh.
Wow.
And it was the night to remember. Even though about 42 years later.
Wow. Wow. And you was there to see it. That must have been amazing.
Yes, well, I performed with Dennis Brown at the time.
Yeah.
And then the finale was 3 bands on stage, and it was just mind-blowing, really, you know?
Yeah. Wow. That must have been a definite moment to remember. Wow.
Yeah, man.
For real.
Most definitely.
Definitely. And so when it comes to, you know, covers and so on, is there kind of any particular ones that you always turn to? You know, if you're upset or you're happy or whatever it may be, is there any that you would particularly like playing?
It doesn't really matter to me, you know. I am crazy sometimes because I listen crazy.
Okay.
Right? So you might see me on a flight with my headphones on, or you might come to my house and I have my headphones on, but I'm listening to classical music. I might be listening to. I love guitar music.
Okay.
So I might be listening to EMX, the South American flamenco music.
Yeah.
Seeing, and then tomorrow morning when I wake up, I just want to hear nothing but Bob Marley.
Yeah.
You understand me? So it's a very moody situation, right? And when I really want to wake up,
yeah,
I do listen to a lot of jazz.
Okay. Wow. That's nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it depends on my mood, really.
Okay.
Right. And then I go to R&B some days, and I go to real rock some days.
Yeah.
You know, I go to Van Halen and Guns N' Roses some days, and of course my favorite group, Journey.
Yeah.
You understand me? But then some days, as I said to you before, I just want to hear Bonnie Wheeler, Black Heart, man.
Yeah.
Which I personally think is one of the greatest albums ever made.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it just depends on my mood, really and truly.
Wow. What an eclectic array of music. That's nice.
Yes.
I like that. For real. And so, what's next for you? What have you got planned for the future for yourself so far?
Well, so far I don't think I have many plans.
Okay.
I don't think I really sit down and plan that tomorrow I'm going to, you know, go up there and do something. All my intentions are to make some good songs.
Yeah. I like that.
You know, and when I make good music, then people might plan for me, you know.
I like that. Definitely. You know what? It's been a blessing talking to you. You seem like a very truthful and humble man, and I like that, and I appreciate, you know, your time and your energy, and now we have the link. It feels an honor to speak with you, for real.
Well, we give thanks, and anytime, you know, and, you know, the people out there, we just want to give thanks and tell them, so right now we appreciate them, you know, because, you know, without them, there's no us, you know, and we want them to keep giving us the support that we really think is our food.
Yeah.
Right? So that support is food for us, and we want to thank the listeners, we want to thank the people out there who, you know, at this time keep supporting our music and their music. We want to say thanks.
Definitely. And you know what? I wondered if you'd be up for saying my name, you know, a little big up from the one and only Dean Fraser. Would you be up for that?
Okay. Well, right now we want to say big ups, big ups, big ups to djkat. And we want to say thank you for having me, Dean Fraser, on your program, and call me anytime.
Nice. You know what? What a blessing.